Someone asked me recently about who my favorite anime protagonist is. After thinking about it, I would say, Gohan is the perfect protagonist. What does that mean actually? Or what attributes does someone need to become a good hero? Well, according to a quick Google search, a good hero is all about powers, personality, morality, a sense of justice and responsibility, and sympathy. Who falls under all these categories perfectly? Gohan, and I'm going to explain why and how. Meet Son Goku. Goku is a Saiyan from Earth. Goku has warrior blood in him, and that fuels his thirst for a good battle. The better part of his youth had him growing peacefully under the care and tutorage of Grandpa Gohan, which cutely enough, Goku named his little boy after the man who raised him. Tragedy strikes, and Grandpa Gohan passes away just before the start of the OG Dragon Ball, which I am not going to spoil, because I really recommend people watch the OG series as it puts a lot of later events into context and makes you respect older characters a lot more. So I highly recommend you go watch the OG show after this video. Goku meets Bulma briefs, and long story short, they go on an adventure to find the Dragon Balls. Goku faces a lot of fights during his adventures and makes a lot of friends as well. He's not the smartest tool in the shed, which could be fallout from him actually falling on his head as a baby. I do not apologize for puns on this channel. Goku loves to fight. There's a running meme you've probably heard of, and it goes something like, if anyone says they're strong, Goku is gonna fight them just to test how strong they are. That's a little bit of what Goku is like in a nutshell. He's kind, he's charismatic, and passionate about fighting. Gohan is a little different. He does have some of his father's personality. He's kind and extremely polite, but he's also very shy. He's a lot timider than what you'd expect the son of a legendary warrior to be like. That is no diss to his character. Gohan is the definition of a prodigy. He has the potential to be as much of a genius as Bulma briefs, the smartest character in the franchise who was able to build a time machine on her own, while the world was getting murked by the androids. This little MF Gohan was solving algebraic equations at 5 years old. Man's had that dog in him. Let's start from the beginning. Son Gohan is the mixed son of the princess of Fire Mountain Shishi and the legendary martial artist and protector of Earth, who's also an alien, Son Goku. At the start of Dragon Ball Z, Gohan is about 3 years old and is living a pretty chill childhood with his parents and grandfather, but even from him being that young, Goku was able to tell there's a dormant power within him. After Gohan gets kidnapped by Raditz, Goku's older brother, who is also a Saiyan, and by that time, Goku had never met a Saiyan before. Then just go watch the show, it'll make a lot more sense there, I promise. Goku has to team up with his enemy, Piccolo Jr., to take on Raditz because he's a lot stronger than anything they've faced at this point. They are getting their butts handed to them, and they are running out of options. Where is 3-year-old Gohan in all of this? Trapped in Raditz's spacecraft, crying for his dad to save him, but watching his dad get folded. That burst of energy Goku knew was dormant in Gohan explodes, and this literal infant bursts out of the spaceship, hair still in his eyes, straight up charges for Raditz's spine. But sadly, Goku ended up sacrificing himself to make sure Raditz dies from Piccolo's ultimate attack, right in front of Gohan. That's enough therapy to put this MF out of commission for a long time. By the way, people talk stupid saying Goku dies every Wednesday throughout Dragon Ball Z, but no, he dies twice. Once here, and once in the Cell Saga. He remains dead at the start of the BU Saga, and I won't count the future timeline where he has a heart disease, because either way that would still be his second death. A while later during the Namek Saga, Gohan crosses paths with the intergalactic tyrant Lord Frieza on planet Namek, the reason Goku's entire home planet is gone, and the only person Vegeta, the prince of all Saiyans, feared. In canon, of course. Anyways, despite Gohan being a scared little kid the entire arc, as Goku hasn't arrived at planet Namek yet. Gohan is constantly on the run from Vegeta, Frieza's goons, and even Frieza himself, in an attempt to gather the Namekian Dragon Balls before the obstacle. Another example of Gohan's call to action is despite the fact he's scared and knows he's definitely gonna get folded, he rushes to save a little Namekian boy, Dendi, from being tormented by Frieza's thirst. Later in the same arc, Frieza jumps Gohan and Krillin, and they have to stall for a while before Piccolo arrives to save them. Frieza murks Krillin, and watching his friend get absolutely bodied by Frieza, Gohan releases the dog in him and solos Frieza on the spot. Imagine the shock on Frieza's face after getting his booty handed to him by a 6-year-old. Bro received a Tekken combo from a child and just sat there and took it. Frieza, being the sore loser he is, transforms again and starts bodying Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, and even Vegeta. They can't really do much at this point until the GOAT himself arrives to save them, Son Goku. Goku and Frieza have a pretty tight battle, and Goku is able to subdue Frieza with the Spirit Bomb. Goku, Gohan, and Krillin take a knee and finally catch a break, believing everything is over. Too bad they forgot there's always a second half because this gap in the glutes. Frieza jumps the Z fighters again, mortally wounding Piccolo and horribly murdering Krillin, Goku's best friend, right in front of them. There's some more therapy for Gohan again. This dude can't catch a break. Good thing is Goku didn't let that slide. Bro went Super Saiyan and rushed Frieza so hard. Frieza had to rage quit and blow up Planet Namek with the Z fighter still on it. Goku tells Gohan to get Piccolo and Bulma and escape the dying Planet Namek, while he teaches Frieza a lesson in humility by beating the mercy of the Lord into him. I'm getting sidetracked. So anyways, later on in the Cell Saga, Gohan has to prepare for an upcoming fight with Cell. Goku trains Gohan in the hyperbolic time chamber. Gohan is worried he might not be able to face Cell, but Goku is again able to tell Gohan has the dog in him, when Gohan goes super silent briefly while under the fear of Cell attacking his loved ones. That's the second example of his character. It's the call to action. He's not excited knowing he will lose. He's not ready to fight someone who's gonna destroy the earth, but he knows it's the only thing he can do. He has no choice. If he doesn't fight, everyone will die, and that is the driving force behind his will to get stronger. Goku switches places with Gohan in the Cell games as he's sure his boy can whoop Cell's butt, so Gohan eventually fights, but throughout the fight, he can't tap into his hidden potential and is getting roasted by Perfect Cell. Getting sick of Cell constantly dogging him, Gohan starts losing morale and Cell takes advantage of this. Cell spawns these ugly little MFs, the Cell Juniors, who immediately begin whopping the Z fighters. Gohan is horrified watching his friends get murked on the sidelines, but still can't muster the strength to fight with his full abilities. Android 16, the only good android in the arc, encourages my boy to take action as the potential Chad he is destined to be. Well, Android 16's head, I guess, as his body was destroyed by Cell earlier. Cell finally kills Android 16 right before Gohan's eyes, and witnessing all the pain and suffering around him, Gohan finally snaps. This is it. This is the moment he finally gives into his Saiyan heritage and just lets go of the fear holding him back this entire time. This is where he goes. Super Saiyan Chad 2. Cell and all the other Z fighters are completely flabbergasted, as that scared little boy they saw barely hold his own in the face of danger became this walking Giga Shad, ready to rip Cell a new butthole. Goku's words from before rang through, as he knew the potential his little man had. He earlier mentioned that what everyone failed to notice is despite Gohan being a little kid, he's been keeping up with the Z fighters his whole life. The call to action brought him to a new level of unimaginable power for the time. His own reluctancy was the only thing holding down. And not reluctant because he's lazy or stubborn, but because he fears he can only do so much. His only limits are those he set for himself. A very relatable lesson to most of us, don't you think? But you know what they say. Even a cornered mouse can straight up get fierce and jump an op when it has nothing to lose. Or something like that, I guess. Anyways, Gohan is just teabagging on Cell at this point. After he finishes digging graves for the Cell Juniors, he turns his attention back to Cell. This dude punched so deep into Cell's gut, it looked like he was searching for loot change in there. Cell tries to rage quit by flying up and shooting a Kamehameha blast into the earth to destroy it. But Gohan wins the Kamehameha measuring contest, and shoots a bigger blast back at Cell, absolutely dismembering him. Goku then yells for Gohan to take out Cell before the android regenerates, but oh-ho, it seems Gohan is showing a little too much inner Saiyan, and wants Cell to live so he can watch him suffer. Yup, to everyone's immediate shock, Gohan just pulled a Vegeta out of nowhere. Cell, revealing his inner Frieza, decides to blow himself up and take the entire Earth with him. Gohan realizes why you never go full never go full Vegeta, and regrets not taking Cell out when he had the chance. Goku, seeing there's no other way, comes in clutch one last time by choosing to sacrifice himself to save his boy again. He says his goodbyes and uses instant transmission to teleport Cell away from Earth, saving everyone from the blast. Goku is such a Chad. That's the second time Gohan has watched Goku die in front of him, which means Gohan's therapist might just finally be able to afford that Ferrari. Despite Goku's final attempt to save the Earth, that Cell activates a respawn glitch and regenerates himself from a small cell membrane particle he left behind. And to make things worse, since Cell has Saiyan DNA, he comes back with the freaking Senkai boost the Saiyans get when they recover from a mortal wound, making him just as strong, if not stronger, than Super Saiyan Chatu. Gohan is at least happy. He can finally exact revenge on Cell for taking his dad away, and this time, nothing will stop him. No more holding back, no more last-minute saves. He has to defend the Earth on his own. When Cell returned, he straight up murdered Trunks with a ki blast through the chest. Vegeta finally becomes a good dad and is furious at Cell for roughing up his baby boy. He rushes Cell, but the android is just way too strong at this point, and knocks Vegeta out cold. Cell shoots a huge ki blast at Vegeta, but Gohan guards him from the attack, absolutely shredding his left arm in the process. At this point, Gohan down an arm, tired, mourning, and weakened without any senzu beans to revitalize him, and Cell has finally decided to blow up the Earth. Again. Cell charges up a massive Kamehameha, ready to take everyone out. Gohan has to fire back with a charged up one-handed Kamehameha of his own. This kid is ready to jump Cell with one hand. Cell is having the upper hand obviously, and he's just roasting Gohan non-stop. He's letting my boy cook out there, and Gohan is steadily losing his footing. He's in doubt again, blaming himself for letting Cell come back. That feeling of being just one man in an impossible situation. Just when all hope is lost, Goku contacts Gohan from heaven through King Kai. Goku tells Gohan not to fear, that he can beat Cell. Gohan has to understand that he's strong, and even though the situation may feel impossible, he should believe in his strength, and that he is never truly alone. And just like that, my boy starts pushing back. He's steadily edging out Cell's Kamehameha blast, and just needs to push a little harder to overtake Cell's blast. Mind you, he's doing this with just one hand. My god, Gohan is so f***ing awesome. Vegeta finally gets back at Cell by shooting a blast strong enough to weaken the android's footing. And that was Gohan's chance to give everything he's got. At this point, Cell knew he was f***ed. With Goku on his side, and Cell finally out, Gohan wins the most legendary beam struggle in Dragon Ball Z history. It's finally over. My boy did it. Gohan has beaten the greatest challenge he's ever had to face on his own at this point. He proved that he was capable. He could beat Cell. His strength and will could carry him through any fight. He's just as strong, if not stronger than his father. And then this Hercules steals his glory just like that. He literally stole the win from a child. What a The reason I admire how Gohan is written as a character is because he was written to be the bridge between the viewer and the chaos going on in the story. Gohan was this little kid put into a situation he knew he couldn't handle. He's not a born fighter like his father Goku, not as stoic as his master Piccolo, nor is he as prideful as his surrogate older brother Vegeta. He's a much more quiet, shy and thoughtful person, but he never lets that stop him from protecting what he believes in. He's seen all sorts of messed up things throughout his life, and still somehow ends up being the nicest person in Dragon Ball. He's pretty much about as nice as the Grandpa Gohan he's named after. It's highly unlikely most of us were fighting Planet Buster level threats before we learned how to write our own names. And if you went through that, I hope you grew up to have a peaceful adult life. 'Cause I would have gone mad by the time I had to run from fat pink aliens on a distant planet. His sense of responsibility and will to keep fighting despite being scared is what makes him a beast in his own right. The fact that every single fight Gohan has partaken in was never about seeing how strong he was, testing his new powers on a strong opponent, training harder to be better than someone else. No, he was always called to action when someone was in danger. He always fought to protect, rather than for any selfish reasons. Even in the future timeline where he fights the androids to the death, was done to protect future Trunks from peril. Is it any wonder that in the current timeline, he grew up to be a superhero and later decided to settle down and have a normal quiet life? He learns from his mistakes, like when he let Cell regenerate. He learns to control the duality in his emotions when situations are tough. He learns that as long as there's hope, there's a way, and he can always win if he tries hard enough. In a story full of warriors of legend, intergalactic tyrants, and tournaments for the faith of the multiverse where gods and angels alike participate in, Gohan somehow finds a way to be the most relatable character. And that is why I consider Gohan a perfect protagonist.
Hey everyone, I'm going a little bit off script at the end of the video. Just wanted to say I originally wanted to do this video, like I had already done and edited it sometime back in 2022, because I wanted to release it just before the Dragon Ball superhero, the Gohan movie released last year. But I edited and recorded, and you can hear from the quality of my records, I did not like how it sounded. So I just had the video in my hard drive for a while and decided maybe I should just randomly upload it now. So I'm hoping to do more stuff like this in the future. I will try different types of different ideas. So if you have any suggestions I should work on future uploads, or anything you'd like for me to improve on or talk about next, then feel free to write in the comments down. And I hope you have a great day, and thanks for watching the video.